Well, if you want to hire a great team, then job interviews are a must. And my goal in this video is to share with you a bunch of interview questions that I absolutely love. Hi, I'm Leah Olson. I am a professional recruiter and the founder of howtohire.com, where you learn to confidently hire the right people for your team. Now, we've all heard of the old standbys of interview questions, most of which I really hate. And of course, I have a video about that. So I thought today I'd go through some interview questions that I really love that are very good quality interview questions. So you can get some great information, get your candidates talking, and get to know them really quickly and really deeply in that short amount of interview time that you do have with them. The first question is a great opener to use in the first round of interviews with any candidate. What's causing you to look for something new right now? This is a great question to get at someone's motivation in making a job change. Remember, changing jobs is incredibly stressful. It's very hard to do, and most people resist change. So what's causing them to look for something new right now? It's probably very significant in their life. Next, I'd like to cover a work history review. You might say something like, we're going to walk through your resume. I'd like to talk to you about what you did in each job, what you accomplished, and why you left each position. And then you're going to start, I would start at the earliest job on their resume, which is probably at the bottom of their resume, and then just kind of work your way up. Now, you need to be careful with this one. If you do employ this interview technique and these questions, you have to watch the clock. This can start to take a ton of time. Just go pretty quickly. The main goal would be to talk to the person about what they accomplished at each job. And you also want to talk to them about why they left each position. And the reason that that's important is you want to just see their career progression, their motivations behind making each job move. So those are really important. Again, looking for common threads through their career, understanding why they did what they did. The next question is taken from Lou Adler's book, Hire with Your Head, and Lou Adler has actually proclaimed this the most important interview question of all time. Are you ready for it? What is the most significant accomplishment in your career? Now, the author recommends that you then dig deep, make sure you understand all of the details surrounding this accomplishment, why it was so significant in the candidate's mind. And I think this is a great question, especially if you're interviewing candidates for a leadership position, management, or executives. This is going to be a really great question to use. Another great set of questions that I love gets candidates talking about challenges and problem solving. You can say something like this: from our description, what do you think will be the biggest challenge that you'll face in this job? How will you tackle it? Or you could ask something like, if you were to get this job, how would you go about solving X problem that we've described to you? Now, obviously, as a precursor to this question, you're going to have a very thorough discussion with them about the job itself and the challenges that they will face, the problems that you're trying to solve as you see it. I do want to caution you, you're not asking them to give you a big proposal. You're not sending them away to write you up some kind of consulting assignment. This is really just generally talking. Hey, we've told you this is what we're facing, and what would you do to solve this problem? Ratings are another interesting talking point to get to know a candidate. This is where, even if it's theoretical, you ask a candidate to rate themselves on a scale of 1 to 10 in a certain skill area. So let's say, for example, you're hiring for a position in which it's really important to have strong skills in Microsoft Excel. So you might ask a candidate, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being an expert, how would you rate your skills in Microsoft Excel? Now, obviously, you're not just going to take a number, a single word number answer to this at face value. You're going to ask them follow-up questions if they don't explain. So let's say they give themselves an 8. Oh, really? Why would you give yourself an 8? What could you do to get yourself up to an expert level? What do you think you would need to learn? That will give you a sense of, what their skill level is in that certain area. Another interview question I absolutely love is simply to ask the interviewee what other people think of them. You could ask something like, how would your boss describe you? How would your coworkers describe you? How would your customers describe you? Do you think their opinion of you is accurate? I also love questions that allow candidates to talk a little bit about their passions, at least as it relates to work, or, at least what they love about their current job. So you could ask something like, what do you love most about your job? Or if you had a day with no appointments and the phone wasn't ringing, what would you work on first? You could also turn this question around to the negative perspective and ask them, either in addition or instead of, you could ask them, what do you like least about your job? What's your least favorite thing that you have to do in your current job? Well, some of my favorite interview questions that I really love are actually pretty humble little questions, and I call them follow-up questions. You're going to use these throughout the interview to get more information from your candidates as they're answering your other questions. They're going to be questions like, oh, really? Why did you decide to do that? What did your customer think of that? What happened next? Questions like this are going to be able to get a little bit more detail from your candidates. Some are going to be more talkative, some are going to be less talkative. That's fine, but you want to make sure you get the same level of detail from each person that you're talking to so that you have the right information to make a good hiring decision. Well, I want to remind you that I have a free guide to interviewing like a boss. Today I've shared about a dozen questions that I love, but that guide has over 40 questions plus a lot of great tips for you. It's free on my website, howtohire.com/interview guide. My name is Leah Olson. Thanks so much for watching the How to Hire channel. Remember, you are a job creator. Now, let's find the right people for those jobs together.